Conscious Collaboration brings together entrepreneurs, changemakers, and thought leaders. We aim to highlight the people that embody the idea of aligned mind, body, and business. Each week, we share, discuss, and learn from the various experiences and ideas of our guest experts. Through our discovery, we find a path to an aligned mind, body, and business.
Hi, I'm Lisa.
And I'm Emily. And we are the Conscious Collaboration Podcast. What up, Lisa?
What up, Emily?
What up, people of the Conscious Collaboration? How y'all doing today? Today, we are going to talk about, of course, all of our things are interconnected, but we're going to talk about something that definitely is interconnected with just a concept that we've touched on from lots of different angles up to this point. It was inspired by my dude. His name is Dazon. He is a yoga teacher here at the studio. And he and Monica, another instructor here at the studio, she's also an Iron Yogi fitness trainer. They host a lovely meditation and intention setting circle gathering every Friday evening. And I love to attend it from time to time. So the last one I attended, Dazon was sharing his intentions, and he dropped a banger of a quote that I loved so much that I wrote in my notes section of my phone. Now, that does not sound all that impressive, but with the amount of things that I tell myself, like, damn it, I should have wrote that down, and I don't do it, for me to have actually done that is pretty, it says a lot. So anyway, he was talking about just approaching a situation that required some work, required some action, and he wasn't entirely sure of the next steps to take, and he was really thinking like, okay, I need to create more structure in my schedule. And he was really thinking along the lines of do right at this time to sort of approach this problem or this situation. And he said, I meditated on it and realized it's not the structure I need, it's the surrender, because I can find that clarity in the quiet. And I was like, oh my God, Dazon, that was so on point. It's not the structure I need, it's the surrender. And that resonated with me so much because, like, when things get, really crazy with me, that's what I do too. I tend to go, okay, well, this must be because I'm disorganized. Like I need more structure. I need more structure, that kind of thing. And you can actually get so caught up in this like idea of like making a better structure, a better organization. Now, structure is important. Organization is important. We talk about that all the time too. But it's not the end all be all solution to everything, especially if you're in a place where you don't necessarily have the answers or the clarity, because it's like he said, the clarity is actually in the quiet. So mind you, when you're manifesting anything, when you're approaching any kind of situation, problem, any kind of goal, outcome that you're trying to see, you do have to take action. Obviously, you ain't going to manifest nothing sitting on the couch. But so this is where our pre-chat conversation went. When you're talking about being in the flow of something, you may tend to think of that as all feminine type of energy flowing, right? Mm-hmm. But what we were talking about is that it's really flow is really more of that balanced vacillation between masculine and feminine energy. So, when you are approached with a situation that does require action, but essentially you're not sure what action to take, then the next action to take is actually to surrender for a beat, for a pause, for an interval. It's, we're never just staying there. We're always vacillating, we're always flowing. But when you're stuck in the action, it's time for that surrender. It's time for that, celebration of whatever small victories you've had up to that point. It's time for that unplugging, recharging, revamping for however short of a period of time. To then find that recovery, so to speak, to then approach the action with clarity and ease in order to facilitate that flow.
Mhm.
So, yeah, there's a lot I could tack onto that too, but we have a whole podcast to talk about it. So, what do you
Yeah,
think, Lisa?
I love that. I mean, I have no idea what type of, struggle or question that Dason might have been experiencing, within, and I assume it was within his business.
And well, no, I think it. I don't remember exactly either. I think it might have been just
Just in life in
regarding like
general.
showing up professionally in his
Yeah.
job. But I think you could apply it to anything. I don't think it necessarily has to be like an acute specific situation.
Yeah, it
Yeah, I
doesn't.
think you could just be talking about life, or business in general, or work in general, or kids in general, parenting, whatever the
Yeah.
topic may be. I
If
think
we're
you can
thinking
apply this
it's
to.
yeah, if we're thinking if it's in relation to our life journey or to business or to career, a lot of times, and of course, like we've been brought up through school and business school or whatever it may be, we're led to believe that to control things through structure is the way to bring about success.
The only way,
The only way. And
exclusively the way.
yes. So,
It
I
is
mean,
important
it's important to
and
have
necessary,
yeah, it's
but
important to have the boundaries, but, if you think about I think, philosophers are Eckhart Tolle, for example, and even in feng shui when we're studying the yin and the yang and surely with yoga as well too, the resistance comes up. So there becomes a point in which we're trying to control an outcome so much that we're building a resistance against ourselves. And then conversely, if we're trying to be like, all in our, feminine, as people will say nowadays, and you're flowy and you're just going to like sit back and receive all of, all of the success and blessings and abundance, then you're leaving so much room for being pummeled by things that like a rushing river or not being
right,
able to see
you become
clearly.
structurally weak.
Right. So, I like that I hear people are exploring that because I think sometimes when we get caught up into the minutia of like real, metal energy, meaning like very financial and strategic in a way that's like orderly and almost like OCD kind of, type A mentality,
Rigid, yeah, rigid.
rigid, we lose an important part that really is like the visionary creativity part that
Mhm.
can bring so much joy or success to your life or to your business. So I like that he said it's not in the structure, it's in the surrender. But they kind of work together, like you were saying, in creating that
Yeah,
control of events, like the control of energy, kind of like the flow of water. It's easier to receive or to navigate a meandering waterway than a waterfall or like a tidal wave or anything that doesn't have those like ebbs and flows.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to be able to have meandering through life, not just kind of like plowing through a project. That's why I like what you say about taking those pauses and those like intermittent
The
breaks,
snacks.
the snacks in the
Yeah,
flow.
surrender snacks.
Yeah. I was just talking yesterday about, I know that I like my body got all out of whack after I worked out with you yesterday because I didn't get all of my walks in because I thought I had to like plow through all of this work, like all of the back-to-back
Mm-hmm.
calls and design projects. And so I did, sure I got up and took like breaks, but I didn't take like my nature walks
Mm-hmm.
or like go out. So I felt that in my body.
Mm-hmm.
And although like I, you know, got through, I mean, quote unquote, got through, like check the boxes, um, they weren't as productive, I think, had I had allowed for that creativity and a little bit of disconnect from the resistance I was creating in forcing myself to be so structured.
And I guess that just speaks to like work smarter, not harder. More does not mean better. That whole kind of way of thinking. And, the more I think about it, like when you look at exercise, fitness, strength training as a whole, it's actually a very concrete analogy of what we're talking about. Strength training, for example, you know, the goal being to grow a muscle or to get stronger, right? Like
Hmm.
if you are approaching a certain exercise, if you're doing squats and you want to get stronger at your squats. So first you start thinking, okay, I'll just squat every day. Then
Hmm.
I'll get stronger at squats and I'll just do nothing but squats
Right.
because that's what I want to get better at. And you just literally squat every
Fatigue
day.
yourself.
You know what I mean? Like you're never going to, it's actually going to be worse. You're never going to be able to build that muscle or build that strength because it requires recovery in between in
Hmm.
order, to take that next step. Otherwise, you're just causing damage,
Yeah.
you know? And same for the opposite being true. You should we'll just use yoga as an example. There are a million ways to recover, quote unquote, from working out. But say you've got a restorative yoga class that you like to do. If on the other side of the coin, you were like, oh, well, I'm just going to surrender now and I'm only going to do yoga,
Hmm.
this restorative, stretchy yoga, you're also actually going to cause damage because you become weak.
Yeah.
So you can be too rigid, you can be too weak. I think that pretty much directly applies to the energetic application of this concept as well. If you are too surrendery,
Hmm.
you know what I mean? You become too weak, too vulnerable to successful if you're applying it to business to
Hmm.
you do have to have a thick skin and some yang energy to successfully run a business.
Yeah.
You can't just
Absolutely.
go with the, oh, I'm so feminine all the time. You can't.
Yeah. I was just picturing, imitating like the most feminine energy I could and trying to make it through the day and
In
see.
a business, yeah. I just
Yeah. It would it would
just
be a
melt
nightmare.
and
Yeah.
fall apart. Yeah.
Yeah. So we were talking a little bit too about the energies of patience. So the idea of holding that patience and allowing that patience and room in the space. And then conversely, coming to a place where you're able to cut through.
Yeah. Well, if you love squatting, it's kind of hard to wait, even if you know you have to.
Mm.
You know?
Yeah. cushion.
apply that to the squat being whatever your situation is,
Mm-hmm.
you know, or the action portion of it.
Yeah. I mean, I
Mhm.
think what is the feminine space? Well, I mean, it's masculine too. I was thinking about like the creativity that you allow to flow in if you give some space from the structure without the the yang nature of it or the strategy. There's no direction for the creativity.
Mhm. Mhm.
So I think that's good. I'm interested. I would like to I need to come by and see Daesan and these and Monica when they do these sessions. Uh
And we need to have them on the podcast.
we do. I like to
The
hear
people wanna know.
yeah, they're just so, you know, there's so many layers to them.
Only the best and most layered here at the studio.
But, being able to, like Daesan said, to find and own that surrender and then be able to, then in that instance, find that clarity, then you're able to have that, like, Queen of Swords energy and that, like, cutting through and making those swift decisions that are gonna be right for you,
Mhm,
like standing
mhm,
in your conviction.
mhm. Yep.
I don't know.
You betcha.
Does that does that resonate with you and anything that you're going through right now,
Yeah,
specifically or
totally.
everything?
Totally, Liv and I just took our little surrender snack,
Mhm.
for the weekend. Again, we talked, I think, a little bit on the last episode about how I'm relocating the studio, and that's just a huge undertaking just by the nature of it. I've gotten one huge, huge, huge part of it taken care of on one end of it, but I also still have a huge, huge, part. Like we have to actually physically complete the transition now. But it's like, do I have to wait until that's complete to take a little break to celebrate? Do I have to? Should I?
Yeah.
And the opportunity was just too perfect, and I think the answer was pretty clear that no, I should not just push straight through. We need to take this little surrender snack. We need to celebrate our victories, and just unplug for a couple of days so that it, as I intended on Monday when I
Mhm.
returned and hit the ground running, it was like, all right, I got the energy. Like
Yeah.
I got the juice to do it.
Yeah, you're, like, fully nourished and fully recharged, and you're gonna be
Mhm.
making good, succinct decisions while you're moving in.
Yeah. And it was
Very good.
good, good for the soul kind of stuff. We did a lot of playing and laughing and just being a kid. I mean, I spent the entire time with an 8-year-old,
Right.
so I was basically an 8-year-old for most of the weekend. And that was just really good. Like when you, I mean, that's true surrender to me when you're
Mhm.
like, you know, completely in that state of almost being a child.
Yeah.
And that was just really good for how I came to approach the week yesterday and today. I still feel good,
So everything that you're describing in terms of having that children energy, that play energy is like really important part of what I was saying was the metal energy. So there's like a negative and a positive to metal energy as well too. That's really important in business. Because on one side, you're going to be very analytical and very clinical. And on the other side, you're going to be very creative and playful. But without those two things together, you can't have innovation.
right? Yeah, rigidity, like pure rigidity. No one. It's just not fun. No one wants to
Mhm.
Nobody got time for that. No one wants to
No,
deal with
I
you.
mean, it's just,
Like it's not appealing.
yeah, it's more harmonious based
And
decision.
serious and fun can exist in the
Mhm.
same
Yeah.
situation.
Well, I mean, our minds never turn off. So while you're playing in the back of your mind, you're probably in your subconscious working through all the
Processing
issues.
some
Yeah.
things, yeah.
Yeah, building
Mhm.
up to what you're about to approach into, which is really exciting because it's like we were saying, that closing of a cycle and the starting of a new. And it can be, very, very visionary and innovative. And of course,
Yep.
have a lot of play and a lot of decisive action in it.
And it prevents you from approaching important decisions in a state of, fear, lack, or severe
Hmm.
stress.
Or structure in a way that you're boxed in.
Yeah. I almost think that has a fear element to it when you're
Hmm.
rigidly structured
Yeah.
because, there it's like that resistance to adapting to changing is like fear based
Hmm. Yeah.
of
Yeah.
the
No,
unknown or whatever the case may
it's
be.
exciting. I like that Daesan was able to bring this topic to us to kind of evaluate. I think it's important, especially as we're talking about this closing of a circle of the seasons, and where everybody may be at this point in their lives, personal or in business, and really just allowing yourself the permission and the patience to have some surrender. And it's good to have people in your circle like you. So hopefully everybody has someone in their collective circle that can say to them, hey, step away, don't forget, take care of yourself, take a minute, take a break, take a snack, like you said. I wonder where that came from. Do you remember where that came from?
Yes, I found it on the internet. uh there's a really great fitness account I follow. Her name's Gina Aragon, and she's 50 or 51 or so, and she's just
Hmm.
really fit. And I like her husband, Alan Aragon, for a lot of valuable nutrition information. Both great accounts for anybody interested in that kind of thing to follow on Instagram. But she was referring to exercise snacks, and which is something that I do. I've never called it that. I think she made that up. But very valuable, especially when
Hmm.
they accumulate. When you have 2 minutes, not even five, not even 10, when you have 2 minutes to get up and, run in place, or she was jump roping, I think, or, run up and down the stairs if you've got stairs. Little snacks, little exercise snacks
Yeah.
that, feel like little bits at a time, but when they accumulate throughout the day and then day to day on a consistent basis, just help to make you a much more active person. And I think the same can be said and done and applied to, um, more recovery based things, breathing, little yoga or stretching movement. I tell
Hmm.
people, I call it microdosing.
Hmm.
So microdose, like when I'm teaching people the fascia based movements, to, help with excessive sitting and stuff like that. I'm like, you can just stand up in your chair and microdose this movement. And
Hmm.
so kind of the same concept, but you can apply it to recovery modalities. And so even if you don't have a whole weekend to go and be an 8-year-old, if you take 2 minutes a handful of times a day, every day, then you've got a pretty good recovery regimen going on just
Hmm.
by snacking, microdosing, whatever
Surrender.
regimen you
Yeah.
get. Yeah, yeah.
Well, I like it. I like it a lot. What do you say we take this inside of the collective?
Yeah, for
That's
sure.
it a little more. So if you like what we're talking about and you want to dish a little bit more on this with us, we're going to take it inside of the Conscious Collaboration Collective in our closed and private Facebook group. You can find us via the link in the description and also on all the socials.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so that's what I'm doing. Feels better already.
Yeah. Go have a snack.
Go have a snack.
Go have a snack. Snack.
A snacky snack.
A snacky snack.
I hope people know
Not
what we're
relevant,
talking
but
about. It's not important to explain right now.
it's
Next
it's that person is very important. That guy is
to
very
us,
important.
he's an icon.
If you just Google "I'm a snake," I bet you'll find it.
Yeah, snaky snake to be specific.
You're welcome in advance.
Yes, we'll follow
And
up
if you
on
don't know, when you find it, you'll know.
Yes, if you know, you know. Okay. All right, Emily.
All
It's
right,
been
homie.
fun. All right, everybody.
Real.
We'll talk to you soon. Talk to you in 5.
5.
Bye.
Thank y'all so much for listening to our podcast. If you haven't yet, please be sure to subscribe, rate, review, and share with all your friends so they can join our circle of collaboration on this journey. You can find us on Instagram at Conscious Collaboration Podcast, on Spotify, iTunes, and Audible, to name a few. Please join us next time for another deep dive into how you can live life in more alignment, mind, body, and business. Send us your questions and comments in our DMs or email us at consciouscollaborationpodcast@gmail.com. See you in 5 minutes.